known. Welcome to the internationally known 24/7 grind with Peanut the General. You are now dosing live with the Hour with the Elders, where it's all love, where it looks like deceiving, but our team is achieving. Nothing too great, nothing too small. Come on in, let's chit chat. Let's talk about it all.
Yo, my sound straight
I don't under the phone breaking sound like
now?
y'all understood what Peanut said?
No, ma'am,
We
I
good?
didn't.
I know it was breaking.
We straight?
Yeah, we straight. Hi, welcome. We have a very special guest here today, and we're going to let you introduce yourself on the internationally known 24/7 grind with the elders on Women's Week. So give us a little something about you. Tell us who you are and stuff like that. Just a little something before we start asking the question. Introduce yourself.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight?
We are doing
Good,
great.
good evening. Good evening.
That's wonderful. Well, I am the Angela Walls, singer, songwriter, producer, arranger. I might have a few more slashes in there. Look, I'm adding to it every day as much as I can. But
All right.
music is my life. Life is music for me.
All right. Where are you
Very cool.
from?
I'm from originally from the Delta, Greenwood, Mississippi, but I live in Florence, Mississippi, just south of Jackson. So Mississippi girl, born and bred.
Hmm.
Look, the birth Mississippi, the birthplace of America's music. So hey,
All right
we
now.
hope we're trying to
Not
hold on to
jazz.
it.
All right. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Not jazz.
Can
Not
y'all
that.
hear me now?
We hear
Yes, we
you.
can hear you, sir.
All right, there we go.
Can't give We y'all can hear all you the too, credit sir. now.
So
Good to
I'm
see you
straight.
too, sir. Yes,
You.
We
sir.
good? Everybody good with the sound?
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Sounds
right, so
good.
we good. All right, so you say you from Mississippi?
I am
What part of Mississippi?
originally from Greenwood, but I live in Florence, just south of Jackson, Mississippi.
Where were you raised at?
Uh, a little bit of both. I was in Greenwood until I was 12. And after 12, I moved here to Florence. So it's kind of been a little bit of both and back
Can,
and forth until I was grown.
yes, ma'am. Could you tell us your experiences growing up in Florence and Greensville?
Well, we're going to go back to Greenwood. So growing up in Greenwood, it was really, for me, it was a wonderful life. I mean, I was mostly raised by my grandparents, rest their souls. They were like the matriarch and patriarch of our family, and they've taken care of a lot of people, spearheaded a lot of our family gatherings. We just had our 62nd annual family reunion in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Well, this past weekend had to miss it for unforeseen reasons. But I mean, 62 years of celebrating family is wonderful. So that's
Amen.
where my roots
Amen.
are.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that's where
awesome.
my roots are, and we still always try to get back to our roots. Every other year we bring it back to Mississippi. So,
Yes, ma'am.
like I
Have
said,
you,
growing up with them, and from the musical standpoint, my dad was my musical influence. Rest his soul. He was part of the Sonic Boom of the South. I know y'all heard of that JSU Sonic Boom of the South.
Sonny Boom.
Back in the
I,
late
I,
60s, early 70s, he was part of the Sonic Boom, but he also played bass guitar.
okay.
Um, and so he introduced me to music, and that's kind of been the love of my life from an early age.
How long you said an early age? How early was that age?
Well, honestly, my I sang in the church choir, of course, like most people that start out in music. Um, when I was probably 7 or 8, but my first remembrance of just knowing that I had a voice, I was probably about 11 years old, singing with some friends, and we were just playing around, and all of a sudden I was the only one singing, and they were watching me, saying I sounded just like whoever it was I was singing, whoever song it was. So from that point I started paying attention to what I sounded like, and kind of started honing my craft because I wanted to develop my own sound.
Were you a part of any talent shows or anything in school coming up?
I was. And one of my fondest memories about talent shows, now here in Florence, I went to Richland High School, but it's a Florence mailing address. But Richland High School, my one of my best friends in high school was the incomparable Dorothy Moore's son.
Mr.
So
Blue.
Misty Blue, yeah.
Blue.
And she heard me sing in the talent shows, and once I was of age, at about, I think I was about 24. Well, she actually, yeah, I was about 24. She gave me my first background singing job, and I traveled cross country with her, and honestly have been singing background for her ever since then. The last show we did was maybe a few months ago here in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
That was a question I had for you about how did you get with Dorothy Moore? I mean,
Yep, going to school with her kids. Yep.
that's a legend. Yes.
Mm.
So was your dad your only musical influence? Was it anybody else in the church? Was it any other gospel singers or R&B singers in your life?
Well, my speaking of the family reunion that we just celebrated,
Mm-hmm.
that side of my family is pretty musical. My grandfather was a musician. He played guitar, he sang, and in the early days of the reunion for me, we would go out into, we call it the hills, go out to my great grandfather's house in the hills, and it started out as a birthday celebration for him, and we would get together, and they'd have one of my grandfather's siblings. She basically had her a Jackson 5 band. uh, they all played different instruments. They sang, and so they had all of the musical instruments and the microphones and everything. We were out in the field in the country, just having us a good old gospel good time because they
All right.
pretty spiritual family. But that's where I really remember starting to love music, just enjoying that my family was doing it right in front of my eyes.
Right.
You haven't had any formal training then at all.
No, not for vocals. I mean, I was in the marching band in high school, so I learned as far as reading music and how um to pitch out chords and everything for harmonies. That's
Okay.
that's pretty much where I learned that from, but no formal training vocally.
So I too was in the
Straight
in
from high school
growing
to
up.
being on the road. What is
I
that like?
high school. You say you was in a band in high school too, the marching band in high school.
Yes, I played the flute, you guys.
So I want to. Can I ask you how was it being in the band in high school? Like, were your high schools like competitive? Like in New
Well,
Orleans,
let
we
me
are very
tell you,
competitive. Like
the high
every
school
high
band that
school.
I was in, the high school band that I was in, we did core style. And I went to
Okay.
my first Jackson State game when I was maybe 17, and I saw the Sonic Boom of the South, and I was a little bit disappointed in my high school. It was a
But
whole different experience.
yeah,
And
What
at
was
but the
the
that
core
point, I was
style.
transition?
like, "Oh my God, this is a whole new life, a whole new world."
What
All
was that transition like straight from high school to going on the road professionally like that?
um, it was pretty easy because I was working with people that I knew already. So by the
Okay.
time I went on the road with Dorothy, I was singing with a local band, and when I started working with her, some of the musicians that were in the band with me also started working with her. So it wasn't a hard transition because I was with people I already knew. And from there, I just, like I said, just started learning more as much as I can wherever we would go and learning from her. She's an amazing person, amazing teacher, just her humble spirit, just taught me how to really hone in on my own skills and develop my own sound.
Did times ever get tough where you thought you wasn't fit for that you wasn't ready for it?
Absolutely. I felt that way many times. And every time I felt like giving up, I may have a gig or a show, scheduled. I'll do that performance and I make a new fan. Somebody will reach out to me afterwards and just tell me how much I touched them or blessed their soul with my voice. And it was just a reminder that, I'm a vessel in this thing. I was chosen for this.
Right.
And so it allows me to be humble about the gift that I was given.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So you say your father was a he was in the band and you was in the church too. But was all this the plan when you first started, or did you just start out just for the love of the music, singing, or did you knew you was gonna be,
Well, I started out for the love of it.
Mhm.
And when I realized I could make some money with it, I was like, hey, okay.
singing?
Bingo.
And look, and the thing about it, working a regular 9 to 5 versus going in the studio and making what you make, in 30 minutes to an hour's time, it's a big difference. I'm like, I need to clock a few more hours over here in the studio.
Hmm.
Now, when you first started, not first started singing, but when you first started taking this serious, did this happen
Hey,
overnight? Can you hear?
I'm sorry, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So not when you first started singing, but when you first started taking it serious, right? To get
Uh,
to here, right? Did this all happen overnight? Was it a long road? Was it a long, hard road? Or did you
n-
know the right people to get in the right spaces at the right time? Or did you have to kind of like put your work in and grind it through the mud?
okay, it definitely did not happen overnight. I've been working at this, I'm going to say 30 plus years now, to be honest with you. And I'm going to say I have a name for myself here in Mississippi. And, I have credits on, several people's albums and everything. You might not know my name, but you probably have heard my voice.
Mhm.
So I count that as a blessing. And as long as you've heard my voice, I know my job has been well presented.
What are some of the pitfalls and setbacks you've had to face and overcome along the way? Because we know that the industry can be a monster. It's not all peaches and cream.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, learning how the industry really works. I will say this: I'm not a cookie cutter, um, perfect size 10, whatever. That's one of the hardest things that I've had to face. They would love the voice, but they didn't feel like I looked the part. So I
Can
had
I
to,
ask you a quick question? Do
yeah.
you think it's only women of color who get that issue in the industry, or does it happen to women, period? Because I very seldom hear women outside of women of color talk about them having weight issues when it comes to marketing their music and their brand, if you will.
And I agree with you. I think it's mostly a women of color thing because, like I said, you never really see it in any other realm of the industry. But I can't say that it doesn't happen because they may be on the outside looking in like me and deciding to go the independent route. So, I'm an independent artist. I put out what I want to put out when I want to put it out.
Put it out.
Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, I can say it that is one of the hardest things that I had to face because I'm like the talent is what's supposed to be important. Is from my opinion. And I feel like I'm a little easy on the eyes. Who I mean,
You beautiful queen.
thank
Yeah,
you.
you're
And I
beautiful.
just, and my main concern was I just wanted my voice to be heard because that's where the gift is.
Mm-hmm.
I
I can
interview I
definitely hear
interview
that.
a lot of hip hop artists, and it's somewhat of a danger being an artist. I've heard of going to the studio with people you featured on a song with different intentions. I've heard of producers having different intentions. I've heard of managers having different intentions. Does that happen in your genre of music, such as it happens in the hip hop genre of music?
Well, I've been fortunate in that aspect. I've never had to experience anything like that. I mean, I have had a few uncomfortable situations, but I worked my way around it with a positive outcome.
Mm.
Just basically, focusing on the music and making sure that I didn't go alone.
What,
Mhm.
without getting to too much of the details, right? What exactly is an uncomfortable situation?
Well, oftentimes, I'm gonna say men tend to feel like they can intimidate women into doing things, um, or trying to give them a compromising position in order to help further their
You don't
career.
have to watch what you say on here. No, you can say it how you can say what you want. You know what I'm saying? You free, you
Nothing
Well,
strictly
too
they
free
try
big,
on
to
here.
nothing too small.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
they
speak.
try to present themselves to be in a position to give you more power than what you feel you have by saying, if you come go with me or come let's take this to another level and try to isolate you. Let me put it that way. And I just, anytime I feel like this doesn't seem like something I want to be a part of, if it's a lost opportunity, I just take the loss
Mhm.
because it wasn't that important to me to compromise my integrity.
Mm.
Do you find your city, your hometown, embrace you in your music journey and support and embrace your music journey?
Yes, I do. I mean,
That's great. That's
I've
all.
had people that will see me out and about and they recognize me from shows like I opened up for Brian McKnight back in 1998, to be honest with you. And I've had people that say, I remember you from that concert.
Mhm.
Mm.
And that just, I'm like, really, that long ago? I was like, I felt like I must have made a really good impact that night.
Mhm.
Mm.
And so,
How was that? Open it up for Brian McKnight, and how did that opportunity come about?
well, one of my longtime colleagues in music, he used to be his road manager. And
Mm.
so back then, we had pagers and everything. And I, I found out he was coming to town, coming to Jackson. I worked in a music store and we were like the premier ticket sellers for any concerts. So found out he was coming to town. I reached out to my friend and I was like, how long is his show? And he told me how long the show was, and I knew that there was not an opening act,
Mm.
and I knew how much the tickets were. I was like, these people are going to be upset. They're spending this kind of money, and they're only going to get like an hour's worth of performance. So I talked to my boss at the music store, and I was like, I need to talk to the promoters about opening for the concert. And I was at work when I talked to him, and next thing I know, they showed up at my job. The promoters came to my job and auditioned me right then, and I got the gig.
Wow.
Mhm.
So
Thank
That's
you
what's
you.
took
up.
a
That's what's up.
They
baby
ready. They
And it
ready
was
Was
for
you
you.
nervous?
literally,
Was
it
you
was a,
nervous?
yes, I was nervous. I had maybe 4 days to put together a show.
You want
And
too nervous. You got that money.
I called in favors. I was like, look, you guys, I just got this opportunity. I called everybody that I wanted to be a part of it. I planned out the songs that I wanted to do. I plotted my little stage plan and everything. And when we got to the venue, the sound crew, they were like, who is this person? They got more musicians on stage than Brian McKnight. And
You
it was
worked that
funny
thing.
because
Like you,
literally I had more musicians than he did, but I was like, this is an opportunity I'm not going to pass up. I'm going to put my best foot forward, even if I
Mm,
had to walk away with not a dime. It
mm.
was more, it was worth more to me than the money.
Do
Yeah,
you do all of that on your own? You're self-marketing, self-promoting, and everything.
I do, yes.
mm. So in
Is
the
that more rewarding for you?
No, it's just, you get to a certain point after doing it for so long, it's kind of hard to relinquish control and let somebody else handle it.
yeah,
So I just
yeah.
haven't gotten to that point yet. I've kind of taken a back burner right now. I'm working more so behind the scenes doing songwriting, studio work, and producing for other people. But I am starting to work on a new project for myself.
So can I ask you
I
this?
have,
Do you? I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
Uh,
No, go ahead.
do I heard you say writing and producing for others. When you say producing, what does that consist of in totality? Like, or I mean, I know you was in the band. Do you actually create the, write the notes, create the music, as well
I
as
don't
write the
create the
lyrics?
music. I don't create the music. I just write the lyrics and the melody, and from a production standpoint, like whenever the artist is ready to record, I kind of guide them in how to
And,
flow with the song.
and produce the overall
Yeah,
outcome. Yeah, that's producing. I
yeah.
definitely understand.
All of this is
That takes
self-taught.
art.
It's all self-taught.
That's
Mm.
an artist.
right.
What's the biggest difference in the music, uh, in your genre music? What exactly is your genre music? I heard it's Southern soul music, right?
No, not what I do,
Uh oh.
but I do work with Southern Soul artists. It's
Okay.
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 Um, Honestly, I kind of created my own genre. It probably falls under another category, but what I call my music is neo sensual. So it's
Neocentric.
kind of neo sensual. It's neo soul, but it has a sensual overtone. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of,
Okay.
I want you to sip on some wine and put on your mind what you can do when you get home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you come to my show,
Give you
that's
something
what
to
I want
think
you to
about,
do.
huh? Give you a little
Right.
something,
Mhm.
give you
Give you a
something
little
to think
something to think
about.
about.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any other genres of entertainment that you were interested in, such as maybe modeling, commercials, movies, anything like that? Or you just
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I would love to have music in movies. I've done a few jingles. Um I don't know where any of you all are from, but there's a local restaurant here, and I did a jingle. I didn't write it though. I just performed it. Uh I'm trying to think how it's almost 30 years ago now.
mm,
And it still plays to this day.
What jingle is it?
It's a restaurant called Bumpers. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
Sonic Drive-In,
Okay.
and they have a little special that they do every so often. It's called the Biggie Bag. So the jingle is about Bumpers Biggie Bag.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And
Also,
I'm
as an
telling you,
endorsement.
it's been playing for 30 years. Every time,
Wow.
I mean, when I hear it, I'm like, wow, they're still playing this jingle. I wish I
So
had
when,
written it.
I'm about to ask you. So when they play it, do you get paid anything off it?
No, it was a work for hire, so I just got paid for the studio time, and that's it.
Okay. Right. But it's
What?
still
What?
around.
Oh, go ahead, mom. I'm sorry.
No, I just tell it so it's still around. So that's the blessing. But
Yep,
anyway,
absolutely.
yeah. You
I'm
What?
sorry.
you did something with Life Jennings as well, huh? Tell me how I love Life Jennings. How was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. I've actually opened up for him a few times.
Mm,
Just different opportunities.
must be nice.
Yeah, must be nice.
Right,
I'm
must
telling
be
you, I'm blessing.
nice. But he's always been such a humble person, and after maybe the second time, whenever we would see each other again, he was like, "Hey, ma, I see it's you again."
Mhm.
So I love it. And
That's
then
what's up.
his background singers, he would have the same background singers, and we would kind of, remember each other and just have good camaraderie amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
What all went into your decision of because you do a lot with some big industry people. What if you can discuss went into your decision to stay an independent artist? You heard me, and not sign a deal with a big major label.
Well, because I'm a fan of music, not so much a fan of the music business. And just understanding how uh the labels can take advantage of the artist, and at the end of the day they end up being the last ones to get paid, but it's because of it's off of the back of their talent that's bringing
Everybody.
in the money.
Yeah.
It really hurts my spirit to know that that's how it's done. So I just didn't want to get caught up in any of that. It was just really important for me to even if I only touch a few people, I want those few people to get the full heart of me instead of me being stressed over anything behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned when we first started about you feel like you get shunned for some weight things because you African American, right? Is it any other areas in entertainment that you feel that we as well, it's Women's Week, so we're gonna represent y'all. You know what I'm saying? That women period get shunned, or do you feel like y'all don't get taken maybe as serious as y'all should be taken, or do you think that some the good you gotta suffer for the bad because it's some women willing to compromise itself and there's some women that's not? You know what I'm saying? How is that for a woman in the entertainment business? You heard me?
Well, honestly, I feel like all attention is not good attention. And, sometimes us as women, we want to be seen. And
Mm.
being seen, you never know what all comes into play just to be seen. So yeah, sometimes we do have to compromise ourselves in order to be, to look at the bigger picture, but you don't necessarily have to go down that road. Like I said, we it sacrifices either way. You're going to sacrifice some of your integrity just to be seen or heard, but you can also sacrifice being seen or heard just to protect your integrity. So
I
it's a
like
catch
that.
22.
I
It's a
like
catch
that.
22.
Right.
It's just
I
a
So,
matter
like
of
that.
what's more important for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
ever ran into any problems with people trying to take credit for your work, like your songwriting or producing or things of that nature?
I have early on I've written a few things and didn't really get the full credit for it, or didn't handle the paperwork myself. So even though uh, credit wise it shows my name, I don't see it on the back end.
So
I
So
can
what
see
would
anybody
you
that.
like,
tell a young up and coming artist is the importance of having your stuff copyrighted and notarized for ownership?
exactly. I started studying entertainment business a few years ago. The Los Angeles Film School. I did it
Mhm.
online. I haven't completed the courses yet, but honestly, by the time I started taking the courses, I really wanted the credentials to show that I'm legit with this.
Mm-hmm.
I had the knowledge of it, but I wanted the credentials so I could help others up and coming, because that's important to me. I don't want anybody up and coming that has true talent to be stifled because the business wasn't handled properly.
Mm-hmm.
So
The,
that's
the
Do
va-
you
something I
find a
plan
lot of
to
that?
do.
does does
Something I plan to
Is
do in
licensing.
the
there,
near future is have a consulting, just be a consultant for others in order for them to do better for themselves.
do you find a lot of that takes place with independent artists? You know, when people see them coming, oh, there's somebody new, we can hustle them right fast.
Oh yeah, and I try to give the ones that I know. I try to give them pointers, what to look out for, what not to be swindled by. I said always have some. If you don't understand the paperwork, make sure you get somebody to look over it with you and for you before you sign on the dotted line. I have two children. Well, they're adults now, but I have two sons that are in the music industry. My oldest, he's a rapper, and my youngest, he's a rapper, producer, singer, songwriter. He does a lot, and he's actually made a pretty good name for himself. And every contract he gets, he makes sure I see it first. And if I don't
Now,
understand it, I got somebody else that can take a look at it too.
now you said that earlier you made some mistakes not looking at the paperwork yourself. Usually people like lawyers or managers or like you said, people who they know look at it. Where did your knowledge of the game come from that you would want to look at a contract yourself before you know such of a lawyer or somebody in the industry?
Well, I was offered a couple of management contracts, and in reading the contracts just for myself, it just didn't look right to me. Some of the wording, it was like the option was to, like at the end of the contract, they had the option to continue, and I didn't. I'm like,
Mm,
how can you decide that you can continue managing me if I decide I don't want to continue? So
facts.
that didn't make
Facts.
sense to me. So from that point on, I was like, I want to make sure I read every word and understand every word, because I just don't, it's always going to be some type of little loophole in there. And I do believe there are people out there that genuinely want you to succeed. And if everybody is pushing for the greater good, we can all get a little piece of the pie.
Mhm.
Nobody has to, I shouldn't be greedy trying to take more of what you are offering. So, and I always feel like in management, if I'm new to you as your manager, I need to be able to prove to you that I can get what you want.
Mm.
Because as long as you get what you want, then I'm going to get paid regardless, because I made sure you got what you wanted and what you needed.
So in a
So,
don't in a you about to say something, Rose?
no, 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 go ahead.
So in a don't look right contract, it's like you being broke and like so where would their trickery be in the fine print of those contracts most of the time?
And it's the wording, because, it's always going to be in legal terminology. So you have to understand, here within and where into and all of that. You have to understand what all of those terms mean in order to make sense of it, because it's never going to be in layman's terms. And that's why I say, if you don't understand it just from the wording of it, get a lawyer that you can trust to take a look at it. Even if it's not an entertainment lawyer, they understand legal jargon.
Mm.
And
So
even
it's
if
just,
they're forcing you to sign, like don't want you to take it home and read it or whatever, is that's a sign not
that's
to
a
sign.
sign right there.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't want me to protect myself, then I don't trust you.
Yeah, go for it.
So that's why I say it's always going to be a catch 22. But anyone that is worth their weight and what they're offering you, they will encourage you to make sure you have someone look over this, so we both can be happy.
You say you've been doing this 30 years. You've seen a lot of different changes in the genders, right? What's
Yeah.
your favorite, I guess, era of the type of music that I would guess R&B, soul? What's your
Hmm.
favorite
My favorite what?
era of music?
Ah, ah, I love so many styles of music, but I'm gonna say probably 90s R&B.
Boom. I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I was
90s
about to say
R&B
that.
is still, I mean, it's classic and it's still relevant today.
Mhm.
A lot of the music today is shaped around 90s R&B.
Facts,
So
facts,
yeah.
Well,
facts. So,
there is no
now,
more good music
And
came
but
from my
hey, I'm a
area.
fan of like early 70s,
If you
70s
were
funk
born in
too.
the 70s and you grew up on music in the 80s and 90s, that's a rap
Yeah,
back.
that's why I say
Right,
it's so much
right.
of it. It's hard to really narrow it down, but
Like she
I
had the
think the
encounter with
90s,
with Lenny Williams and all of that there. Lenny Williams gonna always,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
so you
That's, I mean, those
Lenny,
classic
Lenny,
songs.
oh Lenny,
Mm-hmm.
huh?
you said, oh, see, so you opened up for Brian McKnight. You opened up for what's his
uh
name? Must be nice.
Life Jennings.
Life
Willie
Jennings.
Clay,
Now
You
you
say
Willie
it must be
Clayton.
nice.
you've been doing this. You've been doing this for you say over 30 years. Is it anything you feel entertainment wise that you haven't done yet?
Anything that I feel that I haven't what?
That you haven't done yet, entertainment wise?
Um, well, of course. I mean, it's nice being a local entertainer, but I'd like to have my music recognized nationwide, worldwide.
All right
You
now.
know, something I really want is to have my music to be placed in a movie because that's gonna forever be a part of that. Especially if it's a hit movie.
Kind of like the jingle you did that's still playing, but just
Yeah, that jingle's been
yeah,
going
yeah,
on for
but
30 years. I
you
want
being the
my
one
music.
behind it, yeah.
Yeah,
You have,
absolutely.
do you have music on YouTube?
I do.
All right, hold up.
Mhm.
I'll be right back. Y'all hold it down while I go set the YouTube up.
So how long did it take you to do your first album?
Oh, it took so long. It didn't take long. Honestly, it didn't take long to record it, but it took long for me to decide to put it out
Okay.
Mm.
You have a favorite
because
song on it?
I chose to do I used live musicians,
Mhm.
Okay.
and we actually did it in a couple of sessions because like I said, it was all musicians that I knew. I I had it pre-recorded from tracks, but I wanted live musicians, so we kind of reworked it from a live standpoint. And what I ended up putting out to me wasn't a finished product, but it was finished enough that people enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
I
real
wanted
music.
to add a lot of extra. I wanted to add horns and strings, and it really worked out just having the four-piece band, bass, drums, guitar, and keys. It worked out having that.
So,
So it
so
was basically
would
a
you
rhythm section.
would you consider yourself your own biggest critic?
Yes, absolutely.
Why so?
It's because it's hard for me to say, okay, it's done, it's finished, because I always want to see what else I can do to improve it. And I had someone to tell me, like one of the guys that co-produced the album with me. He said, if you feel you want to improve upon it, improve it on the live show. He said we
Improve
got
it
to stop. We
in the
got to have a stopping
performance.
point, and then you can give them something extra in the live show. And I was like, okay. Once he said that, it made total sense to me, and I said, okay, let's do it. Let's release it finally.
That was, that was
And it took
very,
my children actually, because the digital age to me was scary because I'm used to going in the
Tell me
studio
about
getting
it.
hard copies, CDs,
Yes,
selling
yes.
out of your trunk, whatever. I'm used to having
Mhm,
that, doing it that
mhm.
way. And they told me that they had finished products, but they wouldn't release theirs until I released my first
All
project.
right.
So they
Okay.
forced me to go ahead and release it, and they've been soaring ever since. And I haven't released a sophomore project yet, but I'm getting ready to.
so
2025 is going to be my year.
don't
Right.
hold on to it forever. They got people that need to hear
Right.
the spirit of you that was created in you, and I'm quite sure that if you have that gift, it is a gift, and there's people that need to hear it. You might not touch everybody in the world, but there's somebody that is waiting just for you to touch them with your gift.
But look, believe it or not, I probably have over 100 songs that I could choose from,
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
but
put.
all of them aren't for me. I write songs, I just write what I feel, but I have to decipher which ones are actually for me and
Yeah.
which ones are just songs that could be shopped.
Thanks. What's your YouTube?
It's my name, Angela Walls, and the album is called From These Lips.
I, I looked it up. I looked it up right before we got on, but I didn't have a chance to listen to it. So I said I was gonna go back and listen to it. But I see that you got a list of them. You
Oh,
know.
I didn't know I was gonna get showcased. All right then.
All right. Yes, girl. Yes, yes. So 2020, that's when you create your first album. That
Yes,
album.
that's when I released it digitally. I
Okay.
actually released it a hard copy, but it was it was hard copies that I was making myself.
Right.
I found these CDs that looked like little 45 records,
Mm-hmm.
and I started making them from that, and made my own little CD cover. A friend of mine, I have photographer friends, so I took one of a great shot that I loved that he had taken of me, and I used that as the album cover. So I did release it, just on a hard copy.
Right. That's
And
beautiful.
thank you.
Welcome.
And believe it or not, that's a selfie.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, it looked like somebody took it for you.
Look, it's a reflection in a. I was took the picture as a reflection in a mirror,
Okay. Okay. You have
and
any favorite songs that you love, or like one more than the other one on it or album?
I love them all. But one of my favorites is I think it's number 2 on there. Don't you wanna?
You
I'm
trying to
trying to
get it?
see if that's what he's gonna select. But
This
even
one
the
is my
album,
miracle.
Mo had to go, or son, his phone dying.
I
my
know.
miracle was it kind of has a I'm trying to think. You remember the brand new heavies?
So,
Yeah.
It kind of has a vibe like that to me. The My Miracle song did,
any
or
song
like
that
a,
was
or even like a Maxwell Urban Hang Suite.
like that beat. Sounds great. Sounds good.
Thank you.
You know, I feel listen to yourself when you listen to yourself, and that's me.
Believe it or not, I love listening to me, especially the ones that I'm really proud of. But I wrote every song. I performed all the background myself.
That's awesome. And I think all of them is to be proud of because that's you. It'd be like,
Right, exactly.
I wrote a first time book, and when I listened to it on Apple, that's me. I did it. Like, proud of yourself. I'm gonna listen to it all when I get out.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
What was your thoughts when you came about that song?
Well, I like writing about love, so I never wanted to promote hurt or pain. So it's always I call it love according to me. So just how I see, how I feel I want it to be, even if I'm in the moment or if it's something that I'm striving to be a part of. So it's just my vision of what love should be. Like in that particular song, one of my favorite lyrics is when I say, when the sun comes up in the morning and I turn to see your smiling face, I know I've been blessed by love because I get to share it with you for another day.
All right now. That's hot. That's hot right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot. That's real music.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
That's real music. All right, so which one you say?
Um,
Which one
I
you say was your favorite?
don't you wanna?
There we go. Don't you want?
People of America, it's the
Oh
all-new
no, hold
starting
on.
smasher
I ain't no
with
Super
three
Mario
beats.
song.
Well,
Yeah.
see, it's Sonic. It's Sonic. It should have been bumpers.
There we go. Do you use live instruments in all your music?
Well, for that project I did, I don't know if I'm gonna do the same for this project, but I would prefer to. I just hadn't decided what I want to do yet.
Yes, ma'am. You have a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
I got something that's been weighing heavy on my mind. I've been contemplating this for a long time. Baby, when you make it send a chill up my spine. Think it's time I make you mine.
Why you call it sensual?
Right, exactly.
Standing at your doorstep, hurry, let me in. I'm starting to get soaking wet. 'Cause it's raining, and you know what that does to me. I wish no one but you could make love to me. Don't you wanna
You have more than one
feel?
single. I know you have then some. You have more than one single.
Oh, yeah. That one. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the truth is one of the most requested ones that I performed live, and also and then some.
Don't you wanna try? Every single day I'll be by your side. And every single way you love for me so. Never wait. Whatever you do, just keep dancing through. Together we can make it night.
You stream your music on all platforms too.
Yes.
You ever thought about doing some music with your sons together?
Thought about doing what?
Music with you and your sons together.
Oh yeah, I've done some backing vocals on a couple of their records. And on this new project, I am going to use my youngest son. I'm going to use some of his production.
So
So I'm excited about that.
nice.
This real music. I like this here.
Right, right.
Thank you.
I like this here. All right, we got two more. You wanna go? You wanna choose the two, or you want me to just pick the two?
Let's do and then some.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
that one's one of my favorites. It's got a little vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What was your motivation behind and then some?
Well, actually, it's the original track that I wrote it to was the motivation. It started out the bridge of the song is the first thing I wrote, and I really liked it. And I said, okay, I got to figure out what to write to match this bridge.
It be like that.
Buttery crown, camel food candy. Look what I done found. Been found me and I'll enjoy. I can always stay. My mouth is getting more. Time is wasting. Come on over here and bring me joy. Making me high. I wanna smell that taste, feel that good joy. Sip on some wine, put on your mind what we can do when we get home. Understand why I'm on this ride. Baby, you got what I want. I ain't gone from. They wish that they could have you, but they can't 'cause you're the ish and then some. Everybody knows that you're the apple of my eye. You're the icing on the cake, boy. You're sweeter than mom's apple pie. You kinda make me feel like I'm the queen of the world. But I'm good and satisfied and know that I'm your girl.
Need that like that one of Tyler Perry movies.
Look, speak it into existence. Yes.
Right.
They wish that they could have you, but they can't 'cause you're the ish and then some. Conversation, you're the master of the craft. He don't speak on my language one-on-one. Everything about you is great. Ooh, 'cause baby, you're the ish and then some. No one has to good thought. Love will keep the chocolate all over. Sprinkle me with your delight. But dip into the strawberry surprise. Someone should have warned me that loving you would be so sweet. It's not good, it's your good, it's real good. Inside, making me high. I wanna smell that taste, feel that good joy. Sip on some wine, put on your mind.
Like
What we
vibing
can
in
do
the
when we
music.
get home. Understand why I'm on this ride. Baby, you got what I want. I ain't gone from. They wish that they could have you, but they can't 'cause you're the ish and then some.
Oh, I like that beat.
Thank you. Thank you. That one was real fun to make.
I
Yeah.
like that one.
And
Yes.
look,
Yes.
I like that
that
one.
last verse, I actually wrote it in the studio while we were recording.
Them the best one. Them the best
That's nice.
one.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm too. I'm
Are you feeling me? Let's do that one. You have an amazing voice.
Thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
I thought that was you. Hey, where you been hiding? Looking good too. I thought about you just the other day. I tell you what, here's my number. Call me later. Maybe we can get together. Okay.
You got to promote it more on social media, girl. Get that out there. World hear you.
Do you like me? Shake yes or no.
Yeah, what?
Play a game we used to play. I ain't broken. Come get some. 'Cause I plan to get some of you. Are you feeling me like I am feeling you? Do you wanna get with me? 'Cause I sure wanna get with you. Let's make it do what it do, baby.
Make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do.
That's great. They had a
Make
voice,
it do what it
young
do.
wine, baby. Let's put that music on. That's it.
Baby, we could break it all the way down to the bare necessity.
Kind of got that jazzy sound too.
You with me, comfort. Oh,
Yes, Yana, that's that grown folks music.
Oh yeah.
Like that grown folks music. Do what it do. Make
I
it do
like
what
this.
it do.
Thank you.
Do what it do, you hear me?
So you gonna go tell Yana, let's make it do what it do.
Yeah.
This real music.
Make it do what it do. Baby, are you feeling me like I am feeling you? We can get together and make it do what it do. 'Cause sometimes I just wanna be free and let you do what you want to do.
lie, we're gonna play like 2 more, you heard me? We got
Okay.
we gonna play like 2 more, you heard me? Let me see. Soul
They play.
Singer, you heard me? You good with that one, Soul
Yeah,
Singer?
I like that one too.
Let's
Let me
go.
see if y'all gonna pick up on some of the vibe of that one.
I like this. Yeah, this some real good music, good vibe, you hear me? Good energy. You know what I'm saying?
Some people call me so famous, cause they think they know what's way down deep in my soul. Some even say I'm a dead ringer of that soul singer they used to know. Well, on the real, I'm a soul seeker, cause I'm seeking out who is my soul keeper. Where did it come from? Why do I do this? How did I get here?
That beat remind me of a song Johnny Guitar Watson.
Okay.
Coming from my
I'm trying to see how many you have. You just got one album on Spotify.
Yep, just one album. That's it. That's why I'm working on the sophomore project now.
So there's some 100 songs out there.
Become me soul singer, cause they think they know what's way down deep in my soul. Some even say I'm a dead ringer of that soul singer they used to know. But on the real, I'm a soul seeker, cause I'm seeking out who is my soul's keeper. How did I get here? All I know is that it's coming from my soul.
Now that chorus is reminiscent of the Dr. Watts hymnals. You know, I love the Lord, he heard my
Okay.
cry.
All right.
Ah.
All right. You got soul. Why don't you let it show? You got soul.
Yeah, all right,
Right
boom.
now.
We got mission.
Walk-ins are all your favorite.
We gonna take it out with this one. You heard me, baby? I miss you. You heard me? Real good music. I like it. I like this. You know what I'm saying? My wife downloading it right now. You hear me?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah, I like this one too. Look, I'm like, I like this one too.
Which one is this one?
This is called Baby I Miss You.
Oh, let me see. Somebody you was There was somebody you was missing?
Um, actually, no.
Okay.
When I wrote this song, I was happily married.
Oh,
Look, divorced now, but at the time I was happily married.
right.
Cause love was never meant to live alone. Sometimes I can't even breathe without you. And that's what lets me know that you're the one. I can't eat since you've been gone. I've been waiting by the phone. Boy, I need you to come home. 'Cause baby, I miss you. I can't keep sleep at night. Just that slow, and that just ain't right. I can't wait to get back tight. Baby, I miss you. We ain't without you. Was never my plan. I always thought we talked things through and try to understand. Boy, I gave you to you, baby, and vowed to you I will. You promised through the good and the bad, you would love me still. I can't live since you've been gone. I've been waiting by the phone. Lord, I need you to come home. 'Cause baby, I miss you. I can't even sleep at night. 'Cause you're that cold and that just ain't right. I can't wait to get back tight. 'Cause baby, I miss you. I can't keep since you've been gone. I've been waiting by the phone. Lord, I need you to come home. 'Cause baby, I miss you. I can't even sleep at night. Your eyes cold and I just ain't right. I can't wait to get back tight. 'Cause baby, I miss you.